the prop, say clear and visually check.
Clear prop!
Pretty cool. So this is what it's like on the left seat of a 747, huh?
Oh yeah.
If I can fly this one, I can fly 747. And of course, I already know how to fly this one because I do Microsoft Flight Simulator. So,
right.
This is just a formality, Garrett. You're just here to observe me fly the plane perfectly. I don't actually have any flight time, you know, in an actual airplane. But I know enough to do it.
Oh, X-plane's just like flying.
Yeah.
Now we get the ATIS.
What is that?
That is for this airport, it's the, I believe, ASOS, and that's the automated surface observation system.
Okay.
And that tells us the weather in our vicinity of the airport.
Okay, got it. So how do we get that?
So we get that by tuning to the ATIS, which this should be the ATIS.
ASOS, you mean?
ASOS.
Quincy Municipal Airport, automated weather observation 2010 Zulu. Wind variable at 5 knots. Peak gusts 11 knots. Visibility more than 10. Sky condition clear below 2000. Temperature 25 Celsius. Dew point 11 Celsius. Altimeter 300. 8 inches of mercury. Remarks. Density altitude 1400.
So what does all that stuff mean?
So all that stuff, we'll go through it. So the first thing we heard was density altitude, and density altitude is, it primarily affects takeoff and landing performance, primarily takeoff performance, and it is the density of the air around us in a given block of...
Is the altitude higher? When is the density altitude higher than the field, the actual elevation of the field?
How much higher is it?
I mean, what's the difference? I don't understand the difference. We're at 229 feet mean sea level right now, right? That's the field elevation. So
right.
Why is the density altitude different? I don't get it.
Well, under standard day, density altitude is pressure altitude corrected for non-standard temperature.
I don't know what any of that stuff means.
So that means that...
Can you put it in layman's terms?
If we were at mean sea level on a standard day, the air at 1,400 feet is what the air is right now at our level of elevation.
So what does that mean?
That means that we're going to have a slightly longer takeoff roll because the air isn't as dense.
You're saying it's like thinner?
Thinner, yeah.
Okay. Got it. Okay.
So the winds today, there's only variable at 5 knots.
So what does that mean?
What does that mean?
Yeah.
That means that the winds are just willy-nilly right now. There's not a set direction.
Is that good? Is that bad?
Since it's not that strong today, it doesn't matter as much, but whichever way the flag and the windsock line up is the way we'll take off regardless.
Okay.
It's looking like 3-2.
3-2. Okay. Well, I don't know anything about flying an actual airplane, so I'll let you be the boss. When I set things up in Microsoft Flight Simulator, I always set it up for calm wind. Yeah.
Well,
that's why I'm a good pilot.
We're going to learn today.
Okay, can we taxi?
Well, we got a before takeoff checklist.
Well, everything in Microsoft Flight Simulator I've learned tells you that you do the before takeoff checklist after you taxi out to the whole short line, but...
we'll do that before we take off.
Okay.
All right.
Hey, you're the boss, man.
So have you ever taxied before?
In Microsoft Flight Simulator at Meigs Field, actually, in Chicago. It doesn't really physically exist anymore because they bulldozed the runway. But yeah, I've taxied many times there.
So this is not like driving a car. So you don't want to use the yoke to steer. You want to use the rudder pedals.
Oh, look at that. Whoa, cool, man. Wow, this is awesome.
Now keep one hand on the throttle.
Okay, we got a turn coming up here.
So turn with the rudders.
They're going to do this they're going to bang your knees all day long.
All right. Are you ready?
Yeah, show me. We're down a soft field takeoff in a 7.4.
How did that go?
I've never done one before, because you don't need to do those, the 747.
Well, if you find yourself flying a DC-3,
No, I'm better than that. That's an old airplane. I fly the latest ones from Boeing.
So
it's not Boeing, I'm not going.
We're gonna keep rolling throughout all this. We're gonna line up. We're gonna maintain the back pressure.
Got full power in there?
I believe so.
Okay, good. Oh, there's the light. Oh, now you nose it over, is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool, man. That's it, huh? That's nice.
That's it.
It's not climbing as steep as a 747 does, but...
Do you have the controls?
I have the controls. Oh, okay, you want to give me the controls?
Yes.
Okay.
So, to maintain positive control of the controls, put one hand on the throttle.
Okay.
Now, if I ever say during any point of this flight, say, I have the controls, you say, you have the controls, and then I reaffirm and say, I have the controls.
Okay.
So let's practice that. I have the controls.
You have the controls.
I have the controls.
You have the controls.
Alright.
How's that? Is that the way the airline captains do it?
That is.
Okay.
Alright, you have the controls.
Because I'm a virtual airline captain.
Oh, I'm sure.
I fly 747s. I have the controls.
You have the controls.
I have the controls.
So you want to maintain 70 knots while we're flying out. You want to maintain that, that's not 70.
Huh? Yeah, I know.
Push the nose forward.
I'm trying to get to 70.
The inner 70. Not the outer 70, the inner 70.
Right, the inner 70, right.
That's not the inner 70.
I don't see how yeah, but the nose has to come up for me to get to 70, right?
No, it does not.
What?
We're at 70 right now. That says 80 miles an
Yeah,
hour.
I'm pulling back on, because I want the airspeed to go up, so I'm pulling back to go up.
No, you want to use the throttle to go up.
Huh?
The throttle goes up. That's the throttle. That's how you get up.
That's how I get up.
The yoke is how you get to your airspeed control.
The yoke, I know, so I'm pulling back on the yoke to get my higher airspeed. Huh?
You're using the power to do that. The throttle to do that.
What do you mean? Throttle to do what?
The throttle makes the airplane climb or descend. This maintains your airspeed.
Okay, so the throttle is up and down. Altitude control. Power is altitude control is what you're telling me.
How high or low you can go and how fast or slow you go.
So how do I get the airspeed to increase?
Get the airspeed to increase.
Yeah.
You push
By pulling back on the yoke, right?
You push forward on the yoke.
Push forward. Oh,
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, that makes sense. I always thought that you need to pull back on the yoke.
Nope. You gotta pull
You
forward.
push forward. So when the nose goes down, the airplane speeds up.
Yes. Yeah.
They didn't tell me that in virtual Microsoft Flight Simulator virtual school. Pilot school. That makes perfect sense now. Okay. Hey, this is cool. Hey, look, there's my house.
Now make sure you keep your hands on the yoke and the throttle at all times.
Okay.
One hand on the throttle. And make sure you're looking at your instruments and scanning for traffic and maintaining 70 knots.
Okay.
One hand on the throttle.
Huh?
One hand on the throttle.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Whoa, what's going on?
So you're in a turn right
What's going on? Whoa, how do I stop it?
I have the controls.
You have the controls.
Whoa. We were in a turn just then.
But I wasn't turning the yoke anymore. The yoke was centered. I don't know why it was still turning. Why is that?
Why was it still turning?
Yeah.
It has negative dynamic stability.
Negative dynamic stability.
And weak dihedral.
I don't know what any of that crap. Weak dihedral. I'm not an aerodynamic physicist.
So you still have the controls.
That didn't have anything to do with something my grandfather told me, overbanking tendency. Is that what that was?
Overbanking tendency. Well, that overbanking tendency, that has to deal with adverse yaw.
Adverse yaw. Okay. I don't know why. I have no clue what that is, but
That means that the higher wing is dragging through the air more than the lower wing. It's also traveling faster through the air than the lower wing.
Yeah, I don't know about adverse yaw. How that factors in. But adverse yaw is pause from the student thing. Adverse yaw is coordination. That's right. It's drag.
Gotcha.
Not so. Overbanking doesn't have so much to do with adverse yaw, but you're right. The higher wing is moving faster, rolling the airplane. That's right. But adverse yaw, that's not quite correct.
All right.
Adverse yaw is exactly that. It's the yaw, not the roll. We're talking about the roll, right?
All right.
Okay, I'm a stupid student again.
Which maneuver did you want to pay for first?
Were you talking about slow flight and stalls?
Oh yeah. We'll go ahead and do some of those.
All right. Oh, there's my farmhouse down there. Sweet. No, that's where I grew up down there.
Oh yeah?
On that farm.
We'll focus on the
I'm gonna
airplane.
get some video of this. Oh, that is so sweet.
So focus on flying the airplane.
Huh? Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, one hand on the throttle, one hand on the yoke.
Okay. I thought you had the controls.
Alright, I have the controls.
You have the controls.
Alright.
Alright.
So we're going to practice slow flight. So, there's two types of slow flight. There's dirty slow flight and there's clean slow flight. I'm going to reduce power a little bit, and I'm just going to maintain nose level with the horizon throughout this whole...
You mean the 5-finger thing, yeah?
Yeah.
Alright.
So there's...
Oh. Look at the stall warning light going on.
Yeah.
Okay.
So about, I'd say 60, about where that wants to be.
Okay.
And right about now, if I were to pull the power out of it, it should stall. Probably right about here. So do you want me to stall it?
You're the boss. You're the flight instructor.
So we'll go ahead and do the stall here.
Okay.
There's a little bit more to it. There's the stall. We're going to barely let the nose drop below the horizon and recover. Full power.
You barely let the nose drop below the horizon.
Yep.
How about just drop it, get the nose over at any cost?
Well, we don't want to do that because then you'll lose more altitude than is necessary.
Okay.
So the aim of the stall is to make sure that we stall it with as little altitude loss as possible.
So the stall, I always thought growing up that stall is like what happens when the engine quits.
No.
So what is happening? What's happening when we stall? I don't understand.
The wind is no longer smoothly going over the top of the wing. Instead, it is tumbling down the wing, and the wing is not able to take the proper bite of air necessary to maintain the ability to fly.
So it's like losing lift, something like that?
Yes.
Okay.
No.
All right.
The objective of this is to make sure that we maintain wings level ball in the center throughout this entire maneuver. That is the bread and butter and the meat and potatoes of this entire maneuver. So, we're going to pull the carb heat out whenever we're dropping below roughly 2,000 RPM for the power off stall. And we're just going to maintain nose level with the horizon as we decrease power. Just maintain nose level, wings level ball in the center. And you're going to see that stall warning is going off. And we're just going to wait for it to stall. There's the stall.
Now you know to do it correctly per the ACS, right? You've got to set up a 500 foot per minute descent. It's a stall in the landing configuration. So you set up a 500 foot per minute descent. You've got full flaps, and then you pull the power and pitch up. That's how you do a power off stall. So show me that.
Okay. So, in order to do that one,
we're going to simulate an approach to landing, right?
All right. We're gonna climb up a little bit here.
Okay.
And turn back to our heading. So this is the power off stall. So we're gonna start our 500 foot per minute descent.
Okay.
There's 500 feet. We're gonna throw the flaps out. There's 1. There's 2. There's 3.
What airspeed are we looking for? About 70 knots, right?
About 70.
Okay.
So
let's set up this descent here at 70 knots, right? 500 feet per minute down. Just as good if we were going into land. Everything's stabilized, right?
Right.
There's traffic, Aria 370 and an extended left downwind for runway 32, Bainbridge.
That's about 50 knots right there. You don't have a lot of power in, so that's why we're descending. Probably 1800 RPM. All right, that's close enough.
All right. Then pull back.
Powered idle, right?
Powered idle. Wait for the stall. Wings level ball in the center. There's the stall. That nose actually did drop a fair bit.
Yep.
And we're going to slowly put back the flaps. And maintain a proper climb.
Got it. So my philosophy on the nose, there is no shame in dropping the nose aggressively, because the last thing you want the student to do is to enter a secondary stall. Right?
Yeah.
And I see this a lot. They'll lower the nose, but not far enough, and they'll begin pitching up immediately, thinking that the event is over. No. Because the airspeed is still very slow, and then they enter a secondary stall. So there's no shame in getting the nose over aggressively. You're not going to lose as much altitude as you think.
All right.
And trust me, it's going to happen to you, where they're going to enter a secondary stall.
And that's when you take control and...
Yes, but to prevent that from happening, get the nose over sufficiently and tell them, you know, get the airspeed back up to 60 knots before you attempt to climb out of it.
All right.
Terrific. Beautiful. That's how we do those.
Awesome.
Now, you're going to give me the controls as the student. And watch me like a hawk now, all right? Especially watch the coordination. All right?
All right.
Okay.
Be prepared for me to take over at any time.
Okay, got it. So I'm going to do stall. I'm going to do one of those power off stalls you just showed me.
Okay.
All right.
And make sure you got that ball in the center.
Okay. Not like that, right?
Yeah.
Something like that. All right, so here at 70 knots, right, I got my little 500 foot per minute descent going on. I've got about 100 RPM in. Terrific. And so, oh my God, I see like a deer pop out in front of the runway. So power to idle and just pitch up.
Now, wings level. Wings level. Wings level. Wings level. Wings level. Good. Now forward. Put the power in. Put the power in. Now slowly come back to the horizon.
So on this one, we'll do it again now. I'll climb up to 3,000. Keep your hands off the controls. Watch me like a hawk and intervene when you feel the time is right. All right. But on that one, you had your hands on the controls the whole time. I'm talking. Keep your hands off the controls, and let me get in just enough trouble before you intervene. Okay, down we go. Right, 70 knots. Blah 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 blah. Pull the power to idle. Begin pitching up.
Left wing down. Turn left more. Good. Maintain that ball in the center. Wings level ball in the center. Wings level ball in the center. Hand on the throttle. Hand on the throttle. Put power in.
Oh,
I have the controls.
you have the controls. Woo. Man alive, that's scary, man. It's more scary in this airplane than it is on Flight Sim.
I don't doubt it.
What I was trying to do, good catch, I was trying to enter a secondary stall. And they will do that. And the other thing they do is they will, as they begin pitching up, they'll drop a wing. They'll drop with the primary students, when you first start working on slow flight stalls, it always happens without fail. They cannot maintain wings level for whatever reason.
Do you think it's because they're nervous and like?
I just don't think they know. Like they're not. I don't know what they're. I just tell them to reference the horizon, and that seems to help a little bit. But it takes a lot of work to get them to understand what the proper side picture and attitude need to be. That's been my experience. And tell them there's no shame in lowering the nose, 10 to 15 degrees below the horizon. That's fine.
All right.
Because the lower you get it, the less risk of entering a secondary stall. All right, you want to show me some chandelles?
Sure.
All right, you have the controls. So.
To do the chandelle, as we discussed on the ground, the first part of it, we're going to be setting our bank constant, and we're going to be altering our pitch. And the second half of it, at the 90-degree point, it's going to be reducing bank and maintaining constant pitch. So let's put that into effect. And we should come out of this maneuver on a reciprocal 180-degree heading with the stall warning going off.
Okay.
All right. So we'll start with, since we're on your side, a left turn, and allow you to get the sight picture for that. So full power. We're on a heading of 360, and we'll roll out on a heading of 180. So we're going to enter the turn. Immediately set there and start pitching up.
Why is the airspeed increasing?
And there's the light going off. We hold this for a little bit, and we level off.
Okay. Why was the airspeed increasing in the second half of the turn there?
I didn't hold constant pitch.
So you need more elevator pressure on the back half.
Yes.
Got it. All right, let me see if I can do it. This plane is so draggy. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's definitely...
This ain't no bonanza.
Definitely not the award winner for aerodynamic efficiency.
Okay, here we go.
Bainbridge traffic, helicopter 519 repositioning north ramp, west departure, right turn northbound. Bainbridge.
So you started your pitch a little too early. So keep it at 30.
Okay.
And yeah. So you pass the 90-degree points. Just begin rolling out. Maintain back pressure. Good, not that much. And roll out to a heading of 360. Push the nose forward just a little. Now, not that much. Now pull back. Right about where that light's going off.
Oh,
right about in
that
that zone, yeah.
I see.
Yeah, right about there.
Okay, I think I got it now. I'm gonna apply for the check right after this light. We're good. All right, you have the controls.
I have the controls.
Good.
We're gonna throw another notch of flaps out.
What is that? A third notch?
Second notch.
Okay.
Right about 60 is good. It's about where we want to be at. We're gonna make our final turn here. Grandfather turn, by the way. We're a little bit high, so we're going to throw another notch of flaps and we're just maintaining that 500 foot per minute descent.
Traffic Cherokee on final full stop 3-2.
Now, when we get over the trees here, we want to be a little bit slower, just a little bit.
Look at that car is watching us land.
So we're above the trees, and we got the trees cleared.
He's watching your form.
So we have about 55 knots here. We're going to do power to idle. And now we're going to flare. above the runway.
Oh yeah. Not as much flare, huh? And now, what are you gonna do with the brakes?
Now we do full brakes.
Okay, go ahead. Okay, well, yeah, we stopped in a much shorter distance.
How about that?
Wow, that's kind of cool.